Okay, here's for assignment 4, linear perspective. Here's my image, which I have printed out on my photo out, and I have a 6 by 8 inch grid. And I already laid my image out on the paper here, and it is also a 6 by 8 inch grid, and I had started drawing. What's nice about using a grid system for this is I can show you how to get from one point to another. Like if I'm looking right here and I want to draw, I've drawn these lines already. And you want to use a charcoal pencil for this. I have some charcoal pencils all set up here. And I can find out just where one point is in the grid. So I looked for it here. It's in my second grid down. It's about in the middle. So I gave myself a midpoint. Right, and then I wanted to find the other end of it, and it is in the 1, 2, 3rd grid down, right below it. So 1, 2, 3, a little bit below it. I gave myself a mark over here, and then I just laid my ruler down between the 2 points. And you want to use a ruler whenever you're doing linear perspective, and a nice sharpened charcoal pencil, because you need to have clean straight lines for perspective, linear perspective. So now I also have one right here, and here I haven't drawn in yet. So I'm just going to line those up again. Get my charcoal pencil. Give myself a nice clean line. And one more right here. You can also see I've already started doing some shading. I was using both vine charcoal and the charcoal pencil. You can see the difference. This is the vine charcoal, and this is the charcoal pencil. This is a softer, warmer value, and this is a darker, cooler value. I've used both inside the windows also. I'm also using a little bit of soft pastel. You can see there's a little green. Of course, I dropped some water on it, but there's a little green in this building. And I talked about creating content. You can see I have a kind of a dilapidated building. It's kind of like a disaster, war. So I'm speaking to content like that. And if I'm shading with my pastel, I'm often telling you guys to blend your charcoal in with it, which is what I'm doing here. I want it to be a little bit shaded, so I'm going to take a little of that charcoal and add to that green. So it's not just a line, but also a bit of a shadow underneath, like that. And then this was all just charcoal pencil here. I also told you guys to make sure that you erase your grids. And notice that when I'm shading, I don't shade with my pencil straight down. It's always at an angle when I'm using a charcoal pencil, like this. And I'm going one direction. I usually go different directions. But since this was kind of like a wood grain underneath here, I'm going to kind of go the direction of the roofing materials. But then I'm going to use my fingers to go back over it and blend in. I want to try and get rid of most of the white showing through the paper. So you guys are just going to continue your whole drawing like that. I still have a lot to do on mine. And make sure you erase your grids lightly with a kneaded eraser before you start doing a lot of shading on here. So I would lightly erase out that grid. You can still see it, but you don't want to see it not a dark line, because it'll show through on your shading. Okay, so that's the next stage, is just draw it out on your large piece of paper, start shading using rulers for all straight lines.